It's the year of the tiger. Now, the first 2 months of the year have seen plenty of volatility in equity markets. In the past 2 weeks alone, the volatility index of VIX declined by almost 10%. So, how do you play this market and choose your stocks? Well, we asked Sebastian Evans of Neos Asset Management. His fund was awarded the best performing Australian hedge fund last year.
I think you've seen the volatility over the last 2 weeks. Everyone's a little bit nervous than what they were come sort of the beginning of January and December. The RBA didn't raise rates. They haven't raised the rates for a reason. I think they're a little bit more cautious than people expected. I think what you've seen in Europe, and you've also seen a little bit of softness in the Australian market now with retail sales that came in. They're a little bit softer. So going forward over the next 6 months, I think it's going to be an extremely volatile ride, and it's still a stock picker's market.
So how do you play this volatility?
Like I just said, I think you pick stocks. That's what it comes down to. If you get on the wrong side of a downgrade, as we've seen over the past few days, stocks are down 50-60% on downgrades. But on upgrades or even guidance, they're only up 5 or 10%. So I think you either stay out of the market to an extent, or you pick stocks that you know well and you ride the volatility out.
And in particular, it's the small caps that have been affected quite wildly by these upgrades and downgrades, isn't it?
No, it has been. I think you've seen stocks like WDS that came out with a downgrade, and as I said, it's down 60% in 1 day. People won't put money in small caps until they come out of reporting season, and once we come out and you see the guidance going into FY10, FY11, people have more certainty and be willing to put more money in the market.
So why are the small caps a better pick at the moment than some of the big cap companies?
Well, I think the big cap companies are sort of priced to perfection. You're paying 15, 16 times for it's a large company that is stable and has a great balance sheet, but if they don't come in with the earnings guidance that many expect, these stocks will get slammed. I think you saw it with Woolworths the other day. It wasn't quite up to expectations. It's come off $3 or $4. In small caps, not as many people follow them. You can get the price sort of imperfections that you're after.
But that comes with a lot of risk, doesn't it?
Exactly. So it's not for everyone. It's not for a complete portfolio. It's for 20% of your whole diversified portfolio. So if you can ride it out for 3 to 5 years, it's the place to be.
Now you're bullish on a number of small healthcare companies at the moment. Why do you like this sector so much at the moment? Well,
I think it's separated from the economics and the global macro picture that we're seeing right now. Like Acrux, for example, I'm sure we'll talk about. They've got their own company-specific issues. If they hit these goals, no matter what happens around them to an extent, they will continue to perform well.
So Acrux, though, as you said, they're already down at about 10% year to date, but what has you so optimistic about their performance over the coming months? Well,
the year is still young, hopefully. And I think they've got a lot of big milestones coming up. They've got FDA approval. If that gets the tick, then they're away to the market, and they're going into $1 billion market with possibly the best product in the market. So for a company that's only capitalised at $300 million, if you're getting $300 million in sales, it doesn't take a genius to work out the maths.
And to some more of your stock picks, you've also picked CBD Energy. They're an energy provider, and again, they're down about 10% this year to date. But why are you bullish on that stock?
I'm bullish because they've got a type of technology that you can store wind power. I think a lot of people don't understand when turbines are actually at their full power, they can't actually get the electricity onto the grid just because the grid is so full anyway. CBD has the only technology in the world that can efficiently store this power and then release it at night when there's enough sort of spare capacity on the grid.
So, and another one, Nanosonics. They're a life science company?
Yeah, well, it's a medical device sort of company. They do have sales. They've had control sales until now, and now they're going full ball. So FY11 is going to be a big year for them. They have no direct competitors, and legislation in France and now in England has ruled that basically it's the only option to sterilise certain products in hospitals and whatnot. You have to buy the Nanosonics product.
Okay, to the commodities, and in terms of the commodities, you like gold and you like copper. So where do you see the copper firstly, and then the gold price heading from here?
Well, I think with the gold price, it's already a high level, but I think with the budget deficit forecast to be even larger than last year, which is coming off an awfully high base, I think the amount of US dollars out there will still continue to flock to gold. The cost of gold to produce is going up, and I think there's only one way for gold, and that is up. It won't be at the same rate as it was last year, but I think you'd still want to be bullish gold and therefore gold producers.
Sebastian Evans, portfolio manager at Neos Asset Management. Now, time for a quick look at the major stories making headlines outside the world of business. India's governing coalition resists pressure to blame Pakistan for a bomb blast that killed 9 people and injured 60 on Saturday. The opposition has demanded the suspension of talks with Pakistan scheduled for next week. Police are investigating who is behind the attack, the biggest since the bombings in Mumbai in 2008 that left 166 people dead. In Pakistan, meanwhile, 3 people were killed in an explosion at a busy intersection. The blast occurred in the south of the country, which has largely avoided the violence of the crackdown on Taliban militants. And in Afghanistan, NATO forces accidentally killed 12 civilians when 2 rockets fired at insurgents missed their target and hit a house. The incident was part of NATO's most ambitious drive yet to re-establish control of a Taliban stronghold in the south, involving thousands of international and Afghan troops. Let's do a check on the markets today. Japan is in positive territory. The Nikkei 225, well, currently has changed directions, changing as we speak, down by about 0.1% despite the better-than-expected GDP figures. The ASX 200 index down by 0.2%, and the New Zealand top 50 maintaining its loss for the morning, lower by about 1/3. Stay tuned. Our regular Forex segment is up next. What a way forward for the euro. We'll bring you the latest on the Greece situation. So if you have any questions, email us tradewithhaz@bloomberg.net or message the trade on the Bloomberg terminal. See you in 2.
Today's Futures Board is brought to you by CME Group. CME Group, where the world comes to manage risk. CME Group, where the world comes to manage risk. Find out what we can do for you at cmegroup.com.
It's time for a change. Kion becomes Credit Agricole Corporate and Investment Bank.